Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Let's Share with Jam video podcast. Since I talked about sharing in community sa first episode, from time to time I will have guests from my own community. And of course, sino pa ba yung uunahin ko sa community ko? Syempre, susulitin ko na habang wala pa siyang pasok as of this recording. I asked Paulo to be my first ever guest here. And I want to introduce him. Hello, welcome, Paulo.
Hi, I'm glad to be here.
Oh, by the way, guys, if you don't know yet, Paulo is actually my boyfriend. Yee. Hi, Pao. Kamusta ka naman?
Kamusta naman ako? I feel very privileged and grateful. Deep down inside, I feel entitled to this because as your boyfriend, I deserve to be your first guest in your video podcast. No one else deserves to take my place.
If
Just
you can
kidding.
see him sa video, nagsismirk siya like, yeah, I deserve this.
Jam, stop revealing.
Too bad you
Privacy law.
Privacy law. Okay, so let's proceed na to our topic for today. Kasi guys, we recently celebrated our 4th year anniversary. And since namimiss na namin na mag-share sa Him and Us, if hindi nyo pa alam yung Him and Us, i-visit nyo yung, ano nga pa?
Our link for Facebook is facebook.com/himandUsPH. Our Instagram is @himandUsPH. Yes, and it's been a while since we last shared content there. So we've been itching to create content.
So, going back to what I was saying a while ago, kasi 4th year anniversary namin, so I asked Paulo to share 4 random but important lessons that he learned sa relationship namin sa loob ng 4 years. Which I hope makatulong sa'yo, sa inyo, lahat na nakikinig ngayon, di ba, Pao?
Yeah, and we're pretty sure it's relatable. We believe this is what every relationship goes through or eventually has to go through.
Yeah.
Are we ready to start?
Yeah, let's go.
I'll start sharing now. Okay, top 4 lessons. The first important lesson that I will share is that you get what you give, you reap what you sow. That basically means that you can't expect one thing from your significant other, for your partner, for your girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever it is. You can't expect them to give you something if you yourself can't give them the same thing. For instance, if you want them to give them your time, but you're not willing to give her your time whenever she needs you, diba?
Yeah.
Parang the relationship is a two-way street. If you want something from someone, you have to observe yourself first and say, have I been giving this, whatever this thing is I've been asking from the other person? Have I been giving this to her too, to her or him? Have I been making my time available? Have I been making this available to her too? Diba? Or is it something that only she's giving me? Diba? Always make sure that it's a two-way street. That's why I wrote the phrase like this: you get what you give, you reap what you sow. The other lesson that this is trying to teach: whenever you give something, you can always be assured that it's a worthwhile investment. That person will always remember whatever gifts you give him or the amount of time that you sacrifice to that person. Eventually, it will come back to you. I don't know how. It will be different for everyone. If you want someone to love you, you love them first and you won't be surprised for them to give it back to you. Diba, soon? Kaya sinasabi ko, you get what you give, you reap what you sow. In other words, if you give love abundantly to someone, almost 99% of the time, you will get it in return. That's a very important lesson that I learned in my relationship with Jam.
Yeah, I remember before, diba? Sobrang totoo to kasi sa atin dalawa. Like, for example, if I ask for your time, lalo nung nasa law school ka na, every time I demand time, like, give me just 5 minutes of your time. Lagi tayo nag-aaway. Like, alam mo ba, sobrang important ng 5 minutes sa akin, ganyan.
By the way, if you're a law student and you're listening to this,
You'll
give me
understand.
a thumbs up.
You'll
You'll understand
why.
what I'm talking about.
So,
Even 5 minutes.
yeah. So, if I demand something from you, nagiging pangit yung impression niya in a way. But if ina-express ko siya in such a way na parang I care about you na, o sige, kahit hindi na tayo mag-FaceTime or hindi na tayo mag-usap, as long as you sleep, you eat, parang okay na sa akin yun. Or if I just give you something na hindi mo ina-expect, all the more ka naman, nare-realize ko na all the more ikaw naman, parang you want to give me time all the more you want to give back to me.
Yeah.
You usually say, ang pangit ko sa akin manggagaling, no? But you usually say, every time I give you something, you usually say na, I don't deserve this. Parang, ikaw na yung gumagawa ng way para makabawi.
Yeah. And that's a very good example. Alam mo yung sinabi mo, like that's a really great way to put it. Like if you feel like in your relationship, you really need this particular thing or whatever intangible thing it is. If there's something you need from someone, why don't you try giving it first? And then before you know it, you'll find that person gives it to you back. So for instance, if you want that person's time, be the first person to give time to that other person.
Yeah.
Right? If you want that person's attention, you be the one to give him attention first.
Yeah.
And before you know it, that person will find a way. Whatever gift you give, whatever time you give, whatever thing you give, it will find its way back into you. At least that's what 4 years of experience has taught us so far.
Yeah, that's true. I remember yung verse na, this is my favorite verse actually, which is yung Galatians 6:9. It says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for in proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Basically, if you keep on doing good,
Yeah.
diba? Parang pagka paulit-ulit, gumagawa ka lang ng mabuti, without even expecting anything in return, magugulat ka na lang na parang, ay, wow, ang ganda naman ng binalik mo sa akin. Parang in due time. Kasi like sa atin, sobrang totoong-totoo sa amin yun. Kasi even if, diba may mga times na, okay, hindi kita mabibigyan ng time ngayon, pero promise babawi ako. And then in due time, pag nandun na yung time na pwede ka na, may time ka na to give me something or to make bawi. That's so konyo. Pero to make bawi, parang dun naman ako nasuspoil.
Para
diba?
bumawi,
Ganun naman yung, bumabawi talaga si Pao. So, that is a very, sobrang gustong ko yung
I love that verse. Thanks for sharing that verse. Yeah, Galatians 6:9. Sobrang ganda ng verse na yun kasi basically the first lesson that I just shared, Galatians 6:9, that's that Bible verse put in another way.
Yeah.
Expressed differently. It's the same principle.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the same universal principle. You reap what you sow.
Yeah. So, alam ko hahaba pa pagka in-expound pa natin. But, okay, number 2, Paulo. What's your number 2?
Number 2, this is one of my favorite ones, and it's not something you'll learn by yourself. The second lesson that I'm going to share is small gestures of love are just as important as the big ones. Small gestures of love are just as important as the big gestures. When I was courting Jam, nung hindi pa kami, nung kinokort ko pa siya, syempre when you're courting someone, when you're trying to catch that person's heart, diba? In local parlance, in contemporary parlance, we call it the chase. Diba? Everyone loves the chase. Diba?
Yeah.
For those of you who are in a relationship, try to recall that time, that moment when you were chasing the person that, you were really interested in. Diba? It's all about the big gestures, because you want to grab that person's attention. You want to give, meron shock factor.
Yeah.
Diba? You want to make sure that person remembers you. You want to be etched in their brain, to be carved in their souls, for them to never forget who you are. How do you do that? By big gestures, like surprising them at work, giving them a grand birthday party. And speaking of birthday parties, I was the first ever person to give a birthday party surprise to Jam.
Yeah, that's true.
I remember we had when we were still friends, Jam shared to me, alam mo ba, wala pang nagbigay sa akin ng surprise birthday party ever sa buong buhay ko. And I was shocked to hear that. Sabi ko, wow, you're really all these years, high school, elementary, wala, 'di ba? So you can imagine when I gave her that surprise birthday party, syempre hindi na niya makakalimutan yun. She won't ever forget that.
Yeah.
I still have videos. I mean, off the top of my head, I still remember everything that happened on that day.
Yeah.
On that day, I made her believe na walang surprise. To the point na nararamdaman ko na, nakikita ko na parang medyo teary na siya until we walked in that church gate. Tapos biglang may mga candles. We followed the path of the candles and then we walked in the room. There were candles shaped in her age and I think her name, and then surprise party. Tapos instead of tears of sadness, tears of sorrow, naging tears of joy na kasi sobrang saya ni Jam.
Yeah.
Diba?
It's so funny kasi when you shared na ito yung number 2 mo, ito kagad yung pumasok na example sa mind ko. Yung first grand
we thought
move
of the same
mo.
example, no?
Yeah. 8
cool.
years ago na may event kami sa church, tapos birthday ko. Tapos, for some reason, walang bumabati sa akin or walang, may bumati man, pero parang it's normal. Parang hindi masyadong, nothing special. Tapos nagulat na lang ako, umalis kami, parang pinabili kami ng something. This was 8 years ago. Kaya parang medyo hindi ko na matandaan. But sabi ko nga kay Pao, parang nagulat ako na pagbalik namin ng church, pagbukas ko nung gate, punong-puno na ng mga post-it, parang leading to a room, yung Sunday school. So, may mga post-it na may mga letters ng mga church members namin, ng mga youth. And then, nagulat ako pagpasok ko. Tapos may background music pa
Yeah.
nga. Do you remember that? May
Yeah.
background music pa.
What was the background music? I think
I
ano eh,
forgot
1,000
na.
years eh. Is it 1,000
Really?
years?
Or,
I'm not
I
sure.
can't remember.
I
But-
think so.
Yeah. Tapos, nagulat ako, pagpasok namin sa Sunday school, nandun silang lahat. May food,
Yeah,
may
everyone
long
was there.
table, and then,
Yeah.
yun, tas kumain lang
Mm.
kami, nag-surprise sila, and it was so much fun kasi first time ko maka-experience ng ganun. And
Mm-mm.
during that time,
Mm-mm.
hindi pa naman kami ni Paulo. That was 8 years ago.
Yeah, friends
So,
pa kami
that's
nun.
just one, no?
So that's an example of a big gesture, 'di ba? I'm sure all of you guys know what that means. You've all given your fair share of big gestures to someone you love. Pero the reason why I say that small gestures are just as important is because these big gestures do not exempt you from the small acts of love that you have to show the other person. 'Di ba? Hindi just because na ay sinurprise kita sa birthday kahapon, ibig sabihin tomorrow I don't have to give you my time anymore. Kumbaga this is an investment, 'di ba? Parang the relationships don't work that way. 'Di ba? When you give something big to someone, it doesn't exempt you from giving that person the small acts, the small gestures of love, like giving that person your time or listening to that person's stories or frustrations for the day. The small things matter just as the big things. And to me, personally, this is an important lesson for me because I myself was guilty of this at the early years of our relationships. You know, as a guy who loves giving big gestures, you can ask Jam, she can give you a list of the big gestures that I've shown her through the years, diba? Pero my tendency is, parang alam mo yung feeling na on days after those big gestures, parang feeling ko I can take a break.
Yeah.
I don't have to do anything else. I don't have to give her my time kasi bakit I surprised you last week eh? Why are you expecting more from me? Diba? It's sort of, diba? That's why I keep saying that it doesn't exempt you from the small gestures of love because I was guilty of this.
Yeah,
I was guilty of
remember
this mindset. Nakala ko,
that. Yeah,
I don't have
remember
to,
that. Yeah.
I don't have to say a good night text. Hindi ko na kailangan mag-text ng good night.
Yes.
Hindi ko na kailangan mag-text ng good morning. Bakit? Kasi I keep bringing back the
Yeah.
justification to, kasi nag-big gesture naman ako last week. I gave her a big gesture last week, diba? Diba? So, parang the small gestures are just as important.
Yes.
Why? It's because it helps the other person remember that that person is, you don't forget that person in the ordinary course of the day.
Yeah.
You don't forget that person
Yeah, that's
throughout
true.
your day.
Yeah.
Diba?
Yeah. Another example ng small gesture na akala mo ang liit lang niya, but it means a lot to me. Like sa amin kasi, since nasa law school si Paulo, so hindi talaga kami nagsasabay matulog.
Yeah.
So ako yung nauuna matulog and siya,
Mm.
he will stay up until
Yeah.
mga 4 a.m., 3 a.m. So that's normal.
4 to 5 a.m.
Yeah. And usually, since law school nga, hindi kami masyadong nag-uusap ng matagalan. So, parang mga mabibilis lang na talk. So, ever since, nakasanayan ko na lagi ko sinasabi sa kanya, before ka matulog, just text me good night. Just so I know na kung ano oras siya natulog. Kasi hindi ko na alam kung ano oras siya natutulog eh. So, I have no idea what time siya magigising, kung naging okay ba yung sleep niya, parang ganun. So, nakasanayan ko na just text me good night. Just so I know na bago ka matulog, 3 o'clock na siya natulog, 4 o'clock, or mas maaga siya natulog ngayon.
Yeah.
So, at the same time, parang that's my way of parang feeling nice din na naisip niya ako, naalala niya ako bago matulog. So, sobrang important nun sa akin. And then dati, di ba, parang hindi mo maintindihan why. Na parang, why do I need to text you? Nag-usap naman tayo bago ka matulog. Parang, I'm just here, I'm just studying. Di ba? Ganun yung ano mo dati. Pero, lagi ko sinasabi sa'yo, just a simple good night, it means a lot to me. Tapos every time na hindi ka nagte-text ng good night, or hindi ka nakakalimutan mo,
Yeah.
I
It's
feel so sad
yeah.
na parang, hindi niya naalala.
Nagtataka ako kasi why do you always make a big fuss
Yeah.
about it? I didn't text you a good morning text.
Yeah.
So what? Diba? But, the more years you're together in your relationship, you start understanding na, those small things are big to me. Parang
Yeah.
that's what you're trying to tell me, diba? Those small gestures are
Yeah.
as big to me. They're important to
For
me.
me, kasi parang since hindi na tayo nag-uusap, parang this is my way of thinking lang, reassuring myself na, naiisip ka pa rin niya kahit busy siya. And at the same time, alam ko rin kung nakatulog siya ng mahaba-haba. Kasi
Yeah.
as a law student, parang sobrang important din sa kanila ng rest and sleep. And I want to be reassured na, okay, healthy naman siya kasi nakatulog siya ng ilang oras. Alam mo yun, nakaka-compute ako without bothering him na anong oras ka na natulog. Ganun. Alam mo, I don't have to ask na. Parang gano'n, anong oras ka na natulog? Di ba? Parang iisipin pa niya. So, storbo pa yon. So, that's my way of caring din. Hindi niya alam. If you think about it, parang ang babaw lang. But if you really dig deep, kung ano yung meaning nun, malalim pala yung meaning niya.
I think the reason why, I think in every relationship, it applies in every relationship, na why are small gestures just as important? And you summarized it well kanina na it helps you remember, it reminds you that the other person thinks about you all the time.
Yeah.
Not just those small times na, just for 2 to 3 hours they prepare something big tapos afternoon they don't think of you at all anymore. The small gestures are what helps you realize that, okay, this person thinks about me. 'Di ba?
Yeah. Siguro magandang reminder lang to sa ating lahat na wag natin maliitin yung mga bagay na akala natin it doesn't really matter but in reality it does. Parang tayo, 'di ba? Kasi I just realized on the top of my head now, parang bigla ko lang naalala. Like kagabi, you were asking me na, so anong papanoodin natin tonight? And then you said na, Chub, what did you say?
This is something I look forward to every night.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
So
I
parang
look forward
ako,
to this every night.
since hindi naman niya everyday sinasabi yon, akala niya parang ang liit lang nun na in-express lang niya yung nararamdaman niya. But to me, hindi ko na siya nakalimutan. Hanggang ngayon naalala ko pa.
Talaga? Wow. I didn't even know that. Like, I had no idea.
Yeah. That's one example na parang kahit akala mo maliit lang siya, but it does matter.
Totoo, no? Yeah.
Meron ako sinasabi, parang may love bank ka. So, parang pagka medyo, sa amin kasi, since
Love
he's a
bank.
law, parang,
Storing love like fuel.
law student siya. So, parang feeling ko, parang kung may tangke ng ipon na lambing niya. And then, parang pag nauubos na, since, halimbawa, matagal na kaming hindi nag-usap, I will tell him, I need the fuel. Lambing me. Parang ganun. So, just to remind myself na, he's still there. Parang nandyan pa naman siya. Hindi siya nawawala. He's just studying hard. It's nice to know na kahit busy siya, naaalala pa rin niya ako. So, what about you, Pao? What can we impart to them?
Yeah. Kasi the thing about small gestures is not only is it significant, it's so easy to do. It's very easy to do. Diba? All you need to do is get your phone, grab your phone and text someone, how are you? I miss you. Where are you? What are you up to? Diba? All
Especially
you need
now,
is
no?
Yeah, especially now. Diba?
Yeah.
That's all we can do right now. All you need is your finger muscles or your vocal cords to simply show
Yeah,
to simply show
that's
someone
nice.
that you remember them. Hey, naalala kita today. Diba?
Yeah.
You were on my mind and I am concerned about you. I care about you. And I want to bless you. I want to be someone who brings joy to your day. Diba? Small gestures are not very difficult to do. So let's not be stingy about it. Wag tayo maging kuripot. We can give it abundantly because God gives the same kind of love to us abundantly every single day.
That's true. So, moving on to number 3, Pao.
Okay, lesson number 3 is loving and leaning on each other's friends, family, and loved ones is a must. This is pretty self-explanatory. No, na relationships are not a lone wolf venture. You're not meant to do it alone. You need the people around you, and the people around your significant other. I always say, di ba parang motto na natin ito dyan sa Him and Us page natin, Facebook and Instagram page, na I'm not just courting you. You're not just courting the person that you like or you're attracted to. You're courting the people around her or around him. Diba? You're courting that person's friends, family, and loved ones. Those are the people that you should care about too. Diba?
Yes,
You can't be
that's true.
completely indifferent to that person's social circle.
Sobrang totoo yan. Kasi one simple example na bigla ko lang naalala while you were sharing. Isang beses lang kami nagkita ni Paulo sa buong quarantine sa loob ng 5 months. Isang beses lang kami nagkita and that was nung nagbakasyon na, nung natapos na siya sa school. And then, let's just see each other once.
Yeah, and we didn't even go out. I just went to Jam's house.
Yeah. At saka, since 5 months na kami naka-quarantine, then sa bahay namin, sa kwarto namin, so we know that we're safe. But going back to my story, naalala namin nung magkikita kami, pumayag na yung parents namin and then my mom would say, oh, mag-makeup ka naman, mag-ayos ka naman, magbihis ka. Kasi since nandito lang kami sa bahay, so gusto namin parang relax lang. Mom ko naman, magbihis ka naman ng maayos, mag-ayos ka ng buhok. Diba? Mag-ano ka, mag-makeup ka naman, magpaganda ka naman. And then, nagulat kami na si Paulo naman, parang ganun din yung sinasabi ng parents mo, right?
Yeah. My parents were telling me, I remember my dad said, di mo ba iwawax yung hair mo? Your hair looks really bad right now. Make sure na before you go to Jam's house, iwax mo yung hair mo para magandang itsura. As in, ginijoke pa ni mami, maligo ka ha.
Yeah. Mag-shave ka.
And mag-shave ako. Yeah, that's what they were saying.
Yeah.
And there's no better feeling than knowing na the people around you support your relationship too. Diba? Kasi yung feeling mo na sometimes you simply run out of gas. On days na you feel like you're running out in the tank, that you have nothing else to offer in your relationship, it's the people around you that will carry you and help you recover that healthier relationship, you know. If you created the right kind of environment, diba? If you love that other person's social circle and that other person is also courting your social circle, it's like you create a healthy support group for your relationship.
Which is very important. Kasi pagka may relationship ka, hindi naman pwede na kayong dalawa lang forever.
Mm-mm.
You'll need someone, you'll need people na who would support your relationship. And then, like tayo, di ba, pagka may mga pinagdadaanan din tayo, yung parents din natin talagang tumutulong sa ating dalawa.
Yeah.
Another example is, nung nag-a-adjust pa tayo parehas sa law school. Yes, parehas kami nag-adjust.
Wow.
Especially nung first year, 'di ba? Parang nag-adjust din ako kasi hindi ako sanay na hindi kami masyado nag-uusap and all. Sobrang busy natin, especially ni Paulo during that time. And I remember nung natapos yung first year mo, you were asking if pwede ako sumama sa inyo sa Taiwan. And then my mom kasi is very strict. So, hindi siya basta-basta pumapayag. And then,
usually
nagulat
the
kami.
answer is no.
Yeah. And during that time, yung free days lang ni Paulo, tatamaan yung New Year. And knowing my mom, hindi talaga siya papayag. Imagine, parang papayagan ba niya ako pumunta ng Taiwan to spend New Year's with them. And alam mo yun, they're not that type. So, since they know yung pinagdadaanan namin ni Paulo, which is halos wala kaming time for each other, and they know that we need that time. Sobrang precious nung time na yun for us to make up for the time that was lost. Wow.
Make up for lost time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diba? Parang alam nila na yun yung important sa atin. So, pumayag sila na mag-spend tayo ng time together.
Alam niyo yung feeling na yung friends mo na mismo ang nagpo-push sa'yo to spend time with your, with your significant other na, mag-date naman kayo. Magde-date sila.
Yeah.
Diba? O, kamusta naman kayo? It's like those people encourage you even more, motivate you even more, to make your relationship work.
Yeah.
That's why I keep saying healthy social circle, healthy support group. Like it or not, truth be told, you can't do it alone. You really can't do it alone. You need the help of other people.
Very, very ideal yung nakasurround sa inyo. Even if hindi yung sa relationship like boyfriend, girlfriend lang. But in general, maganda na yung nakasurround na tao sa inyo are those people na talagang makakatulong sa inyo, makakapagbigay ng value din sa inyo. And you do the same, di ba? Parang yung number one natin. Parang ikaw din.
And of course, and of course, to be clear, we're not saying that you should allow other people to dictate, which direction your relationship should go to. You should not allow other people's thoughts to control the way your relationships work. What we're simply saying is you should, consider the fact that these are the people that your significant other sees all the time. These are people that your partner loves, cares about, has concern for. So why shouldn't you love them equally as much? You can't love your girlfriend but at the same time hate her friends. Of course, we know that there are circumstances and situations where, diba, iba yung situation natin. Yeah, we all have different situations, but the point is you should consider them and not act like they don't exist.
Yeah. So, number 4. That's nice. That's a good point, pal. Let's move on to number 4.
Number 4 and the final lesson. A lot of lessons, but we boiled it down to 4 lessons. The 4th lesson is what you can't control does not exempt you from what you can.
Tell me
and
more about
this. This has been particularly, this has particularly resonated with my relationship with Jam because there are a lot of things that we can't control, me and Jam. It's because as a law student, there are so many things that I can't control. so many things. For
Amen.
instance, di ba, like,
True.
pag binibigyan ako ng marami, amen, nag-amen si Ja. For instance, pag binibigyan ako ng napakadaming readings na you feel like, like yung pinag-usapan namin kanina, I feel like I can't even give Jam 5 minutes of my time because I feel guilty if I don't study. Lalo na kung may recits na kami in a few hours or in a few minutes or may exams kami the next day, di ba? So there are plenty of things that I can't control, how I manage my time, because sometimes I really need to give 110% of my effort and my time to school in order to pass. I'm not just doing this to get top of my class. I'm doing this to survive, not to get kicked out of law school. You know what I mean? So this is one of the things that I can't control. This doesn't exempt me from the things that I can. What does that mean? It means na pag wala akong time, I should text Jam, hey, I won't be able to talk to you tonight. Parang kumbaga wino-warn ko na siya na, tonight I'm going to have an exam tonight, so I'm gonna study the whole day. So in case you need to reach me and you can't, at least alam mo that I can't. Diba? That's one thing you can control.
Hindi
What
yung
you
bigla na lang
communicate.
mawawala.
Parang, hindi ka lang biglan. Yeah, that's what I meant. Parang, one of the things that you can control is how you communicate to that person your current predicament. Diba?
Yeah.
Anong pinagdadaanan mo ngayon? Make sure na transparent ka.
Yeah.
Na, medyo busy ako ngayon. So, disclaimer na para hindi ka na magulat na hindi ako mag-reply the whole day because I'm going to study the whole day. I will turn off my internet. This is just one of the many millions of examples. There are plenty of things that you can't control. But there are also plenty of things that you can control. And you're not exempted from that. So, kaya yung example na binigay ko is I can't control how busy I am in law school. But I can control how much I communicate to Jam my current situation. So that aware si Jam.
Yeah.
Hindi na siya nanguhula, anong ginagawa niya ngayon? Ba't hindi siya nagre-reply? Diba? Why is he not replying now? May kausap ba siyang iba or something? Diba?
Or
Parang,
okay pa ba
does he
siya?
not want to talk to me? Is there something wrong in our relationship? Hindi. Parang, I already told her, may exam kasi ako bukas.
Yeah.
Para at the very least, the other person has a peace of mind na, okay, I know what this person is doing today.
True.
And that person will understand you, di ba?
Yeah.
Si Jam, she's been super understanding for me. Like, her understanding is God-sent. Sobrang understanding ni Jam sa akin. Sobrang patient niya. And for that, I am super grateful. But I am not exempted from always communicating to Jam, from always updating her what's going on. Kasi simple update lang. Exam tomorrow. BC me. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
Di ba? Because that's way better than not sending her anything at all.
Yeah.
I always say this na you're not exempted from what you can control. You can't control how busy you are. Okay, that's settled. Hindi na natin pwede ibahin yun. But you can control how you treat Jam because of how busy you are.
Yeah.
What are other applications to this?
During those first few months mo sa law school, ito yung something na nahirapan tayong ayusin nung una. And then eventually, we were able to parang pinpoint ano yung nagiging problema. Habang nagsasalita ka, na-realize ko, because of this, ikaw natutunan mo to communicate better. Ako naman, natutunan ko to be more understanding. Even before you said about me being understanding, yun talaga yung na-master ko. Kung ikaw natutunan mo na master mo yung to communicate well. Before kasi nahihirapan tayo na. Kasi di ba lagi mo sinasabi sa akin, don't worry, I'm just studying. Wala naman ako ibang ginagawa. Nag-aaral lang naman ako. And then ako naman sinasabi ko, wala naman masama mag-aral. Pero just tell me na you're studying para hindi ako nanguhula.
I can't read your mind. How could
I'm
I
not
have known?
there. Yeah.
Diba? Wala naman akong webcam dyan sa bahay mo. I don't have a security cam to know what you're doing there.
Exactly.
Diba?
And now that you're doing your part, which is communicating better, ako naman, my part is to understand where you're coming from. Na, okay, nag-aaral siya. Intindihin mo na lang, nag-aaral siya. So, BBC, go, understand him, support him. And actually, isa sa drafts ko sa mga gusto kong i-topic dito sa video podcast ko is yung hidden power of understanding. Kasi para ako nakakuha ng gem when it comes to understanding.
Yeah.
Isang malaking blessing siguro sa lahat ng nangyayari sa atin, sa lahat ng bagay na hindi natin makontrol. Sa life, kami dalawa in general, kami dalawa ni Paulo, parang sa lahat ng bagay na hindi namin makontrol. Bukod sa faith, isa talaga sa nakatulong sa akin is yung understanding. Yung paano ko in-apply sa buhay ko na kailangan mo maintindihan yung situation and kailangan mo mag-adjust. It helps me to be more patient. Natutunan ko mas maging patient just because I understand more. Just because I understand where you're coming from, because I understand bakit ganito yung situation natin. And lahat tayo, di ba? Kahit kayo. Ito lang yung example namin. But I'm sure meron sa buhay nyo na hindi nyo naintindihan bakit to nangyayari. But just take heart and
focus on what you can control.
yes.
Yung maganda yung sinabi mo, Jam, kasi what you're doing right now is, you showing understanding, you showing patience. These are the things that you can control. What can I control? Ako naman, on my end, communicating with you, texting with you the simplest of messages. That's something that I can control. What we're basically saying is, we know that in every relationship, there are things that you can't control. But your response should not be, ay, okay, wala na akong hope. And just lie on your bed all day feeling
That's not
sorry for
true.
yourself.
Yeah.
Diba? Feeling sorry for yourself. Okay, I can't control it. Time to be depressed for the whole day.
Yeah.
Diba? Parang instead of doing that, focus on what you can control. And more often than not, it'll help you overcome together together with your partner. It will help you overcome the things that you can't control.
Last tip na pwede namin impart sa inyo is, kung hindi mo alam ano yung gagawin mo, 'di ba? Kasi tayo parang it took us time para ma-realize natin na okay, communication and understanding. Kayo naman kung hindi nyo alam kung ano yung gagawin nyo, pray about it. Parang paano ko aayusin to? Paano ko mapapainam to? Kung ano yung situation ko ngayon? What do you want me to do, God? Don't be afraid to ask God for guidance. Don't be afraid to pray about it specifically. 'Di ba? If meron ka mga bagay na hindi makontrol sa buhay mo, ask God for guidance. What do you want me to do? And read the Bible kasi usually doon naman talaga nanggagaling din yung instructions ng Lord, and spend time with Him, worship Him. Yun yung isa sa nakatulong din sa amin para ma-pinpoint namin na eto pala yung kailangan namin gawin. So you can do that too if you don't know what to do, diba? If you don't know where to start, that's the best part. As cliche as it sounds, diba? Parang baka lagi niyo na naririnig sa
You're saying
amin.
prayer?
Yeah, prayer, reading the Bible, and spending time with God talaga for guidance.
When in doubt, diba? When in doubt, pray, spend time.
Yes. Kanina lang may life group ako, and yun din yung pinag-uusapan namin na connect to the source. If you don't know what to do, connect to the source. Our main source is God. So if you don't know where to start, connect to the source. And He will guide you through the things that you can control in your life. Diba? Tapos dun sa mga bagay na hindi mo makontrol, bahala ang Lord. Diba? Note to self sa atin dalawa.
Things will fall into place eventually.
Yes. So before we end, we want to share a Bible verse that we believe that could bless your day.
The verse can be found in Ecclesiastes 4:9, which says, "Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up." Huwag ka daw maging loner, basically. In other words, don't be a loner. You need the people around you. No, but I feel like this is such a wholesome verse.
Yeah.
Because it's encouraging us to make connections.
Yeah.
Diba? Two are better than one. Always. Kumbaga parang, most of the time, two are better than one.
Yeah, that's true. Kasi we're sharing this not because gusto lang naming pakiligin kayo, but we hope na our experiences and our stories could help you strengthen your relationships as well. Kagaya dyan sa verse na yun, di ba? Two are better than one. Kung hindi lang kami dalawa ni Paulo, kagaya ng mga shinare namin sa inyo na mga random lessons namin, it basically strengthens your relationship, not just with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, but yung lahat ng relationship nyo, di ba? Lahat ng nakapaligid sa inyo, lahat ng, sabi ko nga doon sa first episode, yung community nyo. So today, we want to challenge you to also share sa comment section kahit isa or dalawang random lessons in your own relationship, di ba? Na pwedeng ma-impart nyo rin, na pwedeng ma-apply din namin sa life namin and sa relationship namin. Kasi kagaya nga ng verse natin today, di ba? Two are better than one. Kaya each contribution will help someone. Kaya don't be shy. Share something. Kasi, di ba nga, Pao, ano yung sinasabi ko lagi sa outro ko or my motto?
Let's create a culture of purposeful sharing.
Yes. Kaya we can't wait to read them and learn as well. Also, if you guys want to follow me and Paulo, meron kaming Instagram account at JimenezPH. For more inspirational videos and stories, let us know then if gusto nyo bang mag-guest ulit si Paulo sa amin dito sa video podcast ko. And maybe you can give us ideas kung ano yung gusto nyong topic namin next. If you guys are listening on Spotify and you want to see the video version of this podcast, you can just check it out on my Instagram account at @jampangilinan or sa YouTube ko, Jampangilinan. Okay, we're having too much fun. Thank you, Pao.
Yeah, I'm having so much fun. Hindi nyo ba nakikita sa face ko?
No, they can't.
Can't you see it in my face?
Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you guys for listening. Again, let's create a culture of purposeful sharing. See you on the next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.